Hello everybody, I am Dr. Dvipika Garg and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope all the previous videos are watched by you people. You are liking it, understanding the content, attempting the MCQs and so on. So the video lecture for today, the topic which we would be covering today is safety valve mechanism. So dear students, this is one topic which is of extreme importance whether you are a dental student or an ortho resident or my NEET MDS aspirant. Okay, so let us begin with safety valve mechanism. To make you understand the exact concept of safety valve, I'll be starting up with the introduction. Okay, so an ideal occlusion is, just a second, yes, an ideal occlusion is the perfect interdigitation of upper and lower teeth, which is a result of developmental process consisting of three main events, that is jaw growth, tooth formation and eruption. Okay, so perfect interdigitation is always required to attain a normal occlusion, and these three things play very important role. Okay, so this is something which we can highlight. So these three things are of primary importance. Now, period of occlusal development. We all have read this in ortho as well as in periodontics. There are four main periods, that is neonatal period, primary dentition, mixed dentition and permanent dentition. So to start with neonatal period, we know that it lasts up to 6 months after birth. So that is the neonatal period. And the main characteristic of neonatal period is your gum pad. Things which you need to remember in gum pad, basically that these are the alveolar processes. Okay, they are pink in color, firm, and they are covered by a dense layer of fibrous periosteum. Okay, so there are a lot of other things in gum pad which you can go through from the textbook, but what I'm meaning to tell you is to make a background of safety valve mechanism. So there are four periods: neonatal, primary, mixed and permanent. Neonatal consists of gum pads. And one thing which is very important and you all should remember is this concept of natal and neonatal teeth, because they are often asked in MCQs. Natal teeth are the teeth which are present during birth, present at the time of birth, whereas neonatal teeth are those which are erupted during the first month. Okay, so if there are natal teeth present in the child, of course it becomes a little difficult for the mother to feed the child. Okay, so but you should know what is natal and neonatal teeth. Next is primary dentition. Primary dentition, from when does it start? It starts from around 6 months and lasts up to 6 years. Okay, so this is your primary dentition. And sequence of eruption of teeth is A, B, D, C, E. Okay, that is your central incisor, lateral incisor, first molar, canine, and your second molar. So this is the sequence in which your primary teeth erupt. Moving on to the mixed dentition. Okay, now here you have to be very attentive. Mixed dentition, you people know, lasts for 6 years to 12 years. And it is divided into three phases: first transitional, intertransitional, second transitional. Each transition period has a particular characteristic. Okay, so let us see what is there in first transitional period. In first transitional period, there are mainly two things which are occurring. That is, first, permanent molar is getting erupted. Okay, and permanent incisors are getting erupted. So these are the two main events taking place in first transitional period. Okay, so now we know that there is a concept of incisor liability. What happens that during the first transitional period, the deciduous incisors are replaced by permanent incisors. Okay, the mandibular central incisors are usually the first ones to erupt. The permanent incisors are considerably larger than the deciduous teeth they replace. This difference between the amount of space which is needed for accommodating the incisor and the amount of space which is available is known as your leeway space of, is known as incisor liability. Okay, so what is incisor liability? It is basically, you know, that the mesiodistal width of deciduous incisor is less and mesiodistal width of permanent is more. So the space difference which is there is your incisor liability, and it is 7.6 millimeters in maxilla and 6 millimeters in your mandibular arch. So how is this incisor liability problem solved? Okay, or what happens, what changes are occurring so that my incisors can be accommodated? Okay, so the first thing is incisor liability is overcome by using physiological spacing. We know that physiological spaces are present in primary dentition, and 4 mm is present in maxilla, 3 mm is present in mandibular arch. What did we just see in the previous slide? That 7.6 mm space is required in maxillary arch to accommodate my permanent incisors. So from 7.6 millimeters, I am getting 4 millimeters from physiological spacing. So I still need close to 3.6 millimeter of space to accommodate my permanent central incisors, which are being replaced by my deciduous incisors. Okay. Next, the phenomenon which is occurring is increase in intercanine arch width. Okay, so significant amount of growth occurs with the eruption of incisors and canines. So as my incisors or canines are increasing, this intercanine width is also increasing. Intercanine arch width increases. So here comes my concept of safety valve mechanism. Safety valve mechanism is nature's attempt to maintain proper occlusion. See, we try whatever we can do, okay, but not everything is possible in our hands. There are some things which we have left onto nature, and one thing which nature does is to maintain proper occlusion. Now let us see how. So to compensate for the horizontal growth in the mandible, maxillary intercanine width serves as a safety valve. How come? Let's see. We all know from the concept of cephalocaudal gradient of growth that my maxillary growth gets completed first, followed by my mandibular growth. So my mandible grows late, right? So what happens? My mandibular intercanine width is established by the age of 9 years in females and 10 years in males. Okay, first we are talking about mandible. So the intercanine width of mandible, that is 3 to 4 3. Okay, if we are doing this one, 1 2 3 1 2 3, so this 3 to 3, that is my intercanine width in mandible, is established by 9 years in female and 10 years in male. Okay, so what my maxilla does, there is delay in the growth of maxillary intercanine arch width. Okay, so this delay in the growth of maxillary intercanine arch width serves as a safety valve for pubertal growth spurt in mandible. See what is happening, my mandibular intercanine arch width is getting completed by the age of 9 to 10 years. And after this, what happened? Puberty hits. So once my puberty hits, there is horizontal or forward growth of mandible. Okay, my mandible will start growing. So what happens? My maxillary intercanine width will wait. It will delay its growth on purpose so that it can accommodate what? My horizontal growth of mandible. Because when my mandible will grow ahead, intercanine width of mandible has been established. Now it is moving forward. It is growing horizontally. So my maxilla adapts to that. How does it adapt to that? By delaying its own growth. What does the maxilla do? It will just sit behind and relax. It will tell the mandible, you complete your growth first, you establish your intercanine. After that, I will do. After that, I will establish my own intercanine arch width, because that will help me in accommodating my permanent incisors. And if my permanent incisors get accommodated, there will be no crowding. Okay, so maxilla completes its growth by 12 to 14 years in females and 18 years in male. Okay, so now you should understand that this delay in the growth of maxillary intercanine arch width will serve as safety valve for what? For pubertal growth spurt in mandible. Once my mandibular intercanine width is established by 10 to 12 years, then puberty will hit. So there will be pubertal growth spurt where mandible will grow ahead. If my intercanine width has already established, maxillary intercanine width established earlier, when there is growth or pubertal growth spurt occurring in mandible, there is bound to be a malocclusion. Okay, so that is why my maxilla will delay its own growth to accommodate the mandible. Okay. So, maxillary intercanine arch width adjusts to the mandibular dentition as it is brought forward. Why brought forward? Meaning when there is growth of mandible after and during puberty. Okay, so this is one thing which should be highlighted. maxillary intercanine width adjusts to the mandible. See, what does it do? It will adjust to the mandibular dentition as it is brought forward when there is horizontal movement of mandible, and this is known as safety valve mechanism. Okay, safety valve mechanism is a very easy concept, students. See, suppose this is an OPG of mixed dentition where you can see that these are the permanent teeth, these are the permanent teeth, and in between you have your primary dentition. Okay, and permanent teeth are erupting. So this is how a typical OPG looks of mixed dentition. So what you have to understand here in safety valve mechanism is, what if somebody asks you what is safety valve mechanism? So you'll say that safety valve mechanism is first of all nature's attempt to maintain occlusion. And how it does? It is done by delay in the growth of maxillary intercanine arch width. Okay, that is safety valve. My maxillary intercanine arch width is my safety valve. It prevents, it will delay its own growth. Why? So that, why is it doing that? It is doing that so that my mandibular dentition is established first. The growth at mandibular dentition should get completed. My mandibular intercanine arch width should be established. Mandibular forward movement or horizontal growth should be done. So what it does, it will allow the mandible to complete its intercanine arch width, to establish the arch width by the age of 10 years and 9 years. And then it will wait for puberty to hit. Let's say my puberty hits at 12 to 14 years. Okay. In females it hits early, so it will hit by 12 years. As soon as the puberty hits, mandibular forward growth will start. Once the mandibular growth is completed, my maxillary intercanine arch width will be established at these particular ages. So that is safety valve mechanism. What is safety valve? The delay in the growth of maxillary intercanine arch width serves as safety valve for pubertal growth spurts in mandible. Okay, so basically my maxillary intercanine width will adjust to the mandibular dentition as it is brought forward. And this is called safety valve mechanism. So I hope this is clear to you people. So what was there? There was a problem of incisor liability by 7.6 millimeters in maxilla and 6 millimeters in mandible. We got 3.4 millimeters of space. We got 4 millimeters of space from physiological spacing. We were left with 3.4 millimeters. Okay. What else? So this is how, you know, my the role of nature comes into play, where it will establish the proper occlusion. So that is safety valve mechanism. So who is the safety valve here? What is the safety valve? It is the maxillary intercanine arch width. I hope you have understood what is intercanine arch width. This portion, canine to canine, intercanine arch width, this thing, this is my intercanine arch width. So this particular thing serves as my safety valve. Why and how? Why? To prevent crowding. How? By delaying its own growth. Okay, so this is your concept of safety valve mechanism. And to help you continue in the same concept, we saw what is neonatal thing, what is primary dentition, mixed dentition, and then permanent dentition. So permanent dentition forms within the jaws soon after birth, except for the cusp of first permanent molar, which forms before the birth. Okay, and eruption sequence, very important. You should be very much thorough with the eruption sequence of primary and permanent teeth. So in permanent teeth, what do we see? 6, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 7 or 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. The very first tooth to erupt into the oral cavity is your first molar. Okay, followed by your central incisor. So yes, students, this was a very important concept. So I've kept it very short and sweet so that you can understand what is safety valve mechanism. It is often asked in Viva during your BDS years, and in your MDS time, it can be asked as your short question. Okay, so safety valve mechanism is one thing which you have to apply practically during the patients, and as well as you have to be thorough with it in theory as well. Okay, in MCQs, in your NEET MDS exam, it can be asked. Safety valve mechanism, the role of safety valve mechanism, or what is the safety valve basically? Safety valve, what is it? Is it the physiological spacing, or it is leeway space of Nance, or is it maxillary intercanine arch width, or is it the mandibular intercanine arch width? So yes, now you know that maxillary intercanine arch width serves as the safety valve by delaying its own growth. It will allow the mandible to establish its own growth, and based on the growth of mandible, it will grow itself. Okay, so it will see how much I need to grow because my mandible has grown this much, and based on that, it will complete its own growth. Okay, so that is my safety valve mechanism. So students, I hope the session is very much clear to you. In case there is absolutely any doubt, please feel free to write down your doubts on the comment section below. So yes, believe in yourself and you can achieve anything. Good luck for your exams and thank you very much.